Good morning, everyone. Today we are looking at Stephen Mitchell's second book of the Tao, chapter 64. A reading that we've done in two other classes on integrity as well. In the prior classes, we've looked at the actual Taoist reading on integrity. And today we're going to look at Stephen Mitchell's commentary. The reading that we are looking at is in the comments below if you don't have the email that I sent earlier. If you'd like to get the reading beforehand so you can read it before class and have your comments and questions ready, just sign up for my mailing list. And if you have any questions, ask them live in the chat. If you're watching this later, please put your questions or comments or pushback in the commentary so that I can respond and see your insights as well. So the reading for today, the commentary from Stephen Mitchell says, and this is just beautiful, right? Integrity is the bridge to the kingdom, the kiss that wakes the dead princess, the fingers that spin straw into gold. When a person has integrity, she's genuine. You can always trust that her yes is a yes and her no a no. There's no motive behind it, no sweet, sticky lure for approval. We love integrity. It feels like home. It's solid. There's no acting out in it. No backtracking, no second guessing. When you act with integrity, everything you do is right because there's no separation between doer and done. Besides, you realize that you're not doing it in the first place. You have let go into the nameless. And it's not even you who have let go. It's not even you who have been let go of. So this is a pretty deep reading right off the bat. He dives right into the big points of Zen, which is why it's a practice that I personally gravitate to and adore. Because when you sit for long enough, it becomes clear that I am not who I think I am, that this organism is part of a whole. I come from the earth, I return to the earth. The earth comes from the universe, returns to the universe. I am not what I think I am. Nothing is what I think of it I am. And that there is no separation between anything. And what's brilliant now is that, modern physics demonstrates this no separation. But when we're in our mind, we can only notice the separation, right? And when we're separate, we can often lose our integrity. And the only person that hurts is yourself. So I love how he starts off, he goes right to the deep at the end, but he starts off with integrity is the bridge to the kingdom. What is the kingdom? Right? This right directly comes into self-worth for me, because ultimately the kingdom of my existence, the kingdom of this life, is when I feel at peace and at home in my body, in my life. And again, to me, and this is what I go to every week, this is a practice. This is why we sit. Right now I'm sitting here today from, my foot's stuck. I'm sitting to you from my mat, from where I sit. It's a little chilly in here, so I also have my blanket all around. But, the practice of sitting, of just being in the moment, is the practice of integrity. And this integrity is physical, not mental. It's a physical skill like dance or basketball or playing the guitar or playing tennis. It's a physical skill anyone can develop. And to me, it is the most important work of a lifetime because this is the key to the kingdom. And that kingdom is just peace in my own limited existence in this vast unknown, whatever this is, right? And when I'm in my integrity, I am connected to myself. And when I'm connected to myself, I'm connected more closely to you and to everything. And again, this is a practice, breath by breath. So integrity is the bridge to the kingdom, Stephen Mitchell says. The kiss that wakes the dead princess, right? It's the kiss. What is a kiss but true physical intimacy, mouth to mouth, without speaking? You don't speak when you kiss, right? You can't speak. It's all feeling, right? And, this kiss of integrity brings you back to your life, to your vibrancy, to your fullness, because you know that you're in your integrity, which is down here. It's not in the heart and it's not in the head. It's in your body. And when you're in your integrity, everything you do is okay. And the cool thing is that when you're breathing from here and living from here, you quickly know when you're out of your integrity. And going into what he alludes to at the bottom, when a person has integrity, she's genuine. You can always trust her yes is a yes and her no is a no. There's no motive behind it. The second I'm in motive, I'm out of my integrity. Right? We trust someone in their integrity because, as he says, there's no sweet, sticky lure for approval. But when I'm practicing sitting, I often fall into motive or for desire for approval from myself, from another, from the world, from society. But when I'm in my breath, in my integrity, I don't need approval, right? That melts away on its own, and I can just be here. And then everything works perfectly. He goes on to say, we love integrity, right? We all love a person who is in their integrity. You feel it, you know it, you trust it. And the great thing about being in integrity, there's so many great things about it, but you also don't have to preach it. When I'm in my integrity, now let me put it this way. When I'm around someone else in their integrity, I feel stronger. I move more into my integrity. Integrity is contagious. If someone starts preaching integrity, which is what I'm actually doing right now, the paradox, the irony. But if I'm with someone and they're, kind of being like, oh, I'm in my integrity, or, oh, you need to be more in your integrity. Ouch. It doesn't feel good. But when someone just is it without talking about it, I stand a little taller. I become a little more grounded. Because again, integrity is physical. We go back to architectural integrity, right? A building is said to have architectural integrity if it's strong in its foundation, strong in its scaffolding, and then has spaciousness inside. I'm in my integrity when I'm strong in my foundation. If I'm sitting, that's my sit bones. If I'm standing, that's my feet. And if my scaffolding, my internal scaffolding is strong, that's a strong spine, but grounded in my foundation. And then spaciousness. Right? So when I'm in that integrity, I actually can feel it. I will notice other people stand up a little straighter, maybe even unconsciously. I don't know. This is the power of true integrity. You don't have to preach or say anything. It's just naturally contagious. And to that point of how personal integrity is physical as much as architectural integrity is, he says on the very last, that last thing, we love integrity. It feels like home. That's that structural solidity, right? Am I solid in myself? Am I? Going back to the reading from the original, like, integrity is our true nature. Arriving at integrity is the work of a lifetime. So we always are here in our body. But to arrive in it, to realize it, to be present to it, not distracted by the ideas in my head, but in my physical self, is the practice of now, of now, of now. It's the work of a lifetime, because my life is my lifetime. I'm arriving in it every single moment. And that again goes right back to the practice. That's why Thursday is a dedicated practice session. Right now I'm going to talk to you about a teaching, but on Thursday we'll practice it. And you can, if you have the email that I sent this morning, you have the Zoom link. If you're watching this later, you can sign up on my website and get the Zoom link. Join us. We just sit and practice. Right? I guide you in a little bit, and then depending on the class, we sit for either 5 or 10 minutes in silence, practicing, staying in this moment, staying in our integrity. Right? We love integrity. It feels like home. When I'm in my integrity, I feel at home. When I'm in my integrity, other people feel at home. Right? It's a very powerful practice. And there's nothing to gain in integrity. There's also nothing to lose. You're just totally alive in the now. And the now. This is that arriving that takes a lifetime. Because a lifetime is now and now and now. It's never in the past, never in the future. Now. And that now I just spoke of is already gone. To maintain my presence, to maintain my arriving, is the practice of our lifetime. So we love integrity. It feels like home. It's solid. There's that it goes right back to that architectural analogy, right? A strong building that's safe to live in is solid, right? Can you be solid? Yes. It's just practice. Can you learn to dance salsa? Absolutely. It just takes practice. I had an old friend of mine years ago when I was first learning salsa, and this is like in the early 2000s. I remember I started taking salsa classes in like 2000 something, whatever, doesn't matter. And there was this guy in there. He later became a really good friend of mine. And he could not dance. He could not do it. We were in the beginner class. I saw him for a little bit. I moved on to more like other classes. And then I dropped out. I didn't come back for a few years. This guy was then in the professional dance team. And now he teaches salsa, right? And he said, I couldn't do it. He was like, I had 2 left feet. I practiced and practiced and practiced. I was determined. And now he's literally a professional salsa dancer, right? And a teacher of other people. We can learn anything physically with enough repetitive practice. You can learn to be in your solid home with enough practice, but it does take practice. It does take that determination. And this is why we have the class on Thursday, and I encourage you to practice every day. Because when you practice is when your life opens up in ways that you cannot imagine when you're mostly stuck in your head. I just can't imagine. It's solid. There's no acting out in it. Because when I'm in my integrity, my motive does drop. And I don't need to act out to get something or run away from something. Like where I am right now is it. And I learned to really trust that. No acting out, no backtracking, no second guessing. And this is key because I've learned over the years, I used to think that acting in integrity meant I don't have emotions and I'm always composed and poised. I found the more I come into my integrity, the more emotions I have. The more I'll actually maybe get upset or cry. I never used to cry, right? Now I cry. It's in my integrity, right? This is being in my body wherever it is. Now I get angry. I never used to get angry. I now trust my anger. I know my anger is in my integrity. That something, my body is telling me something is not right. And here's the thing about anger. It's never about the other person. It's never about the other person. Sorrow, anger, none of this is about anyone else. It's about how am I respecting and receiving myself. If someone is doing something that I'm not comfortable with, can I respect them, honor them, and trust them? This goes to the love video that I posted earlier today that was actually from last week's class. Can I love, honor, and trust someone in whatever they're doing while still loving, honoring, and trusting myself and saying, hey, I totally respect that this is how or what you need to be doing right now, and it's not comfortable for me, so I need to walk away. Unless you decide that for yourself you want to stop or change, that's great. But for me, this doesn't work, so I need to step away. I'm not closing the door, but just this isn't comfortable for me. I'm staying in my integrity while still respecting the other. Is that not the highest form of love? Of the self, of the other, of the world? Do what's right for you while still respecting the other. This to me is the best challenge. When you act with integrity, everything you do is right, because there's no separation between the doer and the done. The doer is just the thinking that something's being done. If I start thinking about it, I am doing it. If there's no thought, I just pick up the cup of tea and take a sip. That's my integrity. The tears just come to my eyes. I just fall asleep, or I just wake up. I just write the letter. I just clean the kitchen. In my integrity, moment by moment, no thought that separates me from whatever is arising. And that again is the physical practice. This is physical, not mental. You sit and this becomes natural. Besides, he says, because there's no separation between the doer and the done. Besides, you realize you're not doing it in the first place. This goes right into scientific work. And I love this book by Lewis Thomas. It's written in the 70s. He was the former dean of Yale Medical School and of NYU Langone Medical School, the former chairman of Memorial Sloan Kettering, true scientist. And he demonstrates how the organism is not the bee or the ant. The organism is the beehive, is the anthill, right? Each ant or bee is just a component, but when they follow their true impulses, right, it does the work of the whole hive. Yeah? It does the work of the organism. So this is why when he says, because besides you realize that you're not doing it in the first place, when you really come into the grounded unknowing that arises from a lot of sitting in the silence, you realize that you're not you, that nothing that you think is true or right. And you also realize that you don't know where or why anything comes from. And on one hand, most of what we do is habit. I am just a bunch of habits. Whatever we think Kirsten is, it's just habits of old. I can change and rewrite habits. And there's plenty of stuff out there online that you can find on how to rewrite your habits and to rewire who and how you are. And again, just practice. But ultimately, how or why these habits come to pass and why I want this habit or not that habit, I don't know. And I don't know what's doing this. But if the hive is the organism and not the bee, my tribe is the organism and not me, I don't know. My actions arise from here. But if I'm stuck in the fears and desires of my heart or the ideas of success and failure of my mind, I'm being driven and motivated from places that are outside of my integrity. My integrity is silent and in my lower belly. Right? And this is, again, I keep pushing this. This is why the practice is integral to integrity. Besides, you realize that you're not doing it in the first place. So who is doing what? It's a good question. You let go into the nameless. Again, I'm not who I think I am. I'm not Kirsten. I'm not the earth. I'm not this universe. It's beyond name. And it's not even you who have let go, right? It's not even me that's doing the letting go. And then he so beautifully states, it's not even you who have been let go of. And what he's very subtle, and if you really read those two last lines there, he's really alluding to that no separation between anything. No one lets go and nothing is let go of. And this might seem esoteric when I talk about it, because it is, but when you practice, it's clear. So practice. The practice is to just get into a solid, that integral position of a strong seated base, strong spine. I like my eyes cast down, not closed, to stay in reality. And just breathe in the silence in this moment. Noticing what arises, trusting, respecting, and honoring what arises, and returning again and again to the lower belly breath. You practice that every day, and your integrity has to become your second nature, because it is your second nature. You just open into it. So these are my reflections on the end of the integrity reading. Do you guys, for the those that are here, if anyone has any questions, comments, pushback, feedback, please share now. I'd love to hear other perspectives. I am no authority. I can share my ideas, my insights, my reflections from years of deep work, both as a therapist and as a Zen Buddhist monk, years and weeks on silent retreat to really practice this. But ultimately, you must figure this out for yourself. If I can point the finger in a direction, great, but you must check this out for yourself. So I see no comments. Integrity is so important. Thank you, AJ. Yeah, it's really important. Oh, with the comments, if you're not a subscriber, you can only comment after this posts, but anyone who subscribes can comment during the live. The live, the only comments I can see are from subscribers. So if you want to comment, do the Q&A live with me, you do have to subscribe. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. Just put your comments in later, and I'll definitely look and respond. I'm really grateful for all of you guys being here, for all of your time and attention. Thank you, Suck. I'm so grateful for all of you guys who show up and comment and just view, and everyone who replies to my emails with their thoughts and insights there too. I'm really grateful for this community, and excited to see where this takes us as I embark on this new platform. And I hope you guys can all join me on Thursday, where we actually just sit and do the practice. Have a great week. I will see you next week, the day after Christmas. It might be a shorter and more abbreviated sit, and it might be a bit louder because I'll be at my mom's house for the holiday. But there will be a class. And thank you, Carolina. So great to see you guys. All right, much love. Have a great afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks.